Hi, we are the Technical Program Committee for DFI 45, and we're going to define the conference in 14 words. For me, DFI 45 is awesome. What is it for you, Ali?
For me, it's very creative. What is it for you, Chris Woods?
For me, it's collaborative. How about you, Greg?
For me, it's charismatic. How about the next Greg?
For me, it's groundbreaking. How about you, Harry?
For me, it's exciting. How about you, Jamie?
For me, it's fun. How about you, Jennifer?
For me, it's engaging. How about you, John?
For me, it's interactive. How about you, Jose?
For me, it's informative. What about you, Valerie?
For me, it's innovative. How about you, Vanessa?
For me, it's dynamic. What do you think, Carol?
It's exciting. Mary Ellen, what do you think?
It's the DFI community. Back to you, Sebastian.
All right, well, as you know, our theme is people, purpose, passion, and I really want to see you at the end of October. Thank you.
That was awesome. All right.
Hi, this is Sebastian Ansanti for video number 2 for DFI 45, an online conference from October 27 to October 30. We want to invite you to this event. We're going to have a live stream, on-demand presentations, panel discussions, meet the presenter sessions, discussion boards,
Mother butterfly,
video chat lounge, interactive exhibit halls, and my favorite, a virtual 5K. It's going to be a dynamic online platform, and our attempt is to connect and engage the DFI community through a high-quality technical exchange. We're going to use digital networking, and we're very excited about it. Beyond any points or any bullets that I can give you today, what I really want is to invite you to join us. This is an event that has been planned for more than 18 months with more than 200 leaders in our industry, all with one purpose and a lot of passion. So please give us a chance, check out the technical program, and I'm sure you're going to love it. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar series. I'm Lucky Nagarajan. I'm the General Manager for Engineering and Business Development Geek in America. Let's go through a few housekeeping things before we start the webinar. Recording of this webinar is prohibited. Certificates will be prepared and emailed in approximately 2 weeks. Online webinar recording along with presentation slides will be available in approximately 2 weeks. So in case you need any assistance during the webinar, please reach out to DFI India. You have the number and the email addresses of T.S. Mahendran and Pranav Jha. So let's go through attendee control panel really quick. So this is the control panel that you all see. So if you want to see it in full screen mode, you can press the button on the left side, right below the audio button. And also please select computer audio if you're not able to hear the audio. Also, you will have number of handouts that you can see in the handout section. You are welcome to download any of the handouts if you would like to. And if you have any questions throughout the webinar, don't hesitate to put your questions in the question chat box. Our speakers and our organizers will receive the questions, and we will be discussing the questions in the question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So I would like to thank ArcelorMittal Projects India Private Limited, who are our webinar series sponsor. Thank you, ArcelorMittal. We also have webinar series co-sponsors, Teamwork Engineering Solutions Private Limited. Thank you very much. And today's webinar sponsor is Geekin Asia, Geekin. Thank you very much, Geekin. So sponsorship opportunities are open for the webinar 7. Please reach out to DFI India office. The email is mma@dfi-india.org. The upcoming webinar series, webinar 7, is going to be on 4th November 2020, and the speaker is going to be Mr. Joe Martins. So here is registration distribution types. You can see that we have received about 942 registrants so far. So here is 41 countries that have been participating in the webinar. There are 3 countries that are new today: Bahrain, China, and Somalia. So here is a quick agenda for our webinar 6. Speaker introduction, and then we will have the presentation. Then we have the promotional videos, question and answer session, and details of DFI India 2020 virtual conference. You don't want to miss this, so stay all the way until the end, and then end of the webinar 6. So our webinar 6 title is Innovative Engineering Solutions Using Prescient Method. So today's speaker is Tomataka Hirose, who is the Chief Construction Solutions Department of Geekin Asia. Welcome, Tomataka Hirose. Mr. Hirose started his professional career in 2010 at Geekin Limited, Japan. Until 2018, he has focused on the structural calculation of retaining wall using steel sheet pile and tubular pile, and created design proposals for consultants. In response to the Tohoku region Pacific East earthquake in 2011, he started joint research on embankment reinforcement measures against natural disasters. This research focused on embankment reinforcement measures using a double steel sheet pile and tubular piles. From 2018, he became the chief of the engineering department in Geekin Asia, Singapore. His mission is to promote the Prescient method and steel materials widely in the Southeast Asia region. He has also engaged in structural proposals and had the opportunity to visit many job sites in Southeast Asia during this period. Welcome, Hirose-san.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Thank you for introducing me to the attendees. So we are from Geekin, a leading press-in piling machine manufacturer. We are extremely glad to be here and have the opportunity to present our methodologies on the webinar. Geekin Group developed its own structures and methods in observing 5 construction principles and promotes construction revolution, which is extremely different from existing methods. Through this webinar, I'd like to share with you what Geekin is doing, as well as features of Silent Piler. Geekin was originally founded as Kochi Geekin Engineering Consultancy Group in 1967. During Japan's post-war economic growth, loud noise and vibration in construction sites are a serious social problem. Thus, we developed environmentally friendly piling machine in 1975 to minimize impact on the environment and society. We delivered to the clients not only our machines, but also disaster protection solutions based on our pressing principles. Mr. Akio Kitamura, the founder of the company, was awarded Ben Garwick Award as the first Japanese in 2017. The award was presented at IFCEE, an International Congress for Underground Development Technology in 2017 in Florida, USA. It was an international prestigious award given by the Committee of Ocean Foundation in DFI for Innovation, particularly in ocean foundation industry. We have several branch offices worldwide, such as in the Netherlands, Shanghai, Singapore, Sydney, and New York. I will provide information on the principle of the press-in method and steel piling technologies. I will also present case studies that uses silent pilot. Mr. Ernst asked you in the previous webinar if any of you have an experience in steel piling or designed steel structure. Approximately 60% of you responded yes, which is good news for us. However, some of you might have never heard about silent pilot and the name Giken. I will show the several slides so you could visualize and consider our methodologies on design or construction phase, as you can download its PDF version. So let's get back on track. Sheet piles are often applied numerous temporary or permanent structures. If you joined the previous webinar, you might have already known about these. These structures include coffer, waterfront structure, and basement wall. Next, you will see the mechanism of the pressing method. The basis of the pressing method is very simple. Silent pilot grips the previously installed piles to obtain reaction stand, which are called to obtain reaction force, which are called reaction piles. Based on the reaction piles, silent pilot installs the sheet pile into the ground by using static loading. The sheet piles are not extracted easily because soils are adhered to the sheet piles underground. From this fact, a pile driver can be integrated with the earth if the machine grips the previously driven piles. So this is a key point. Also, it's possible to make a low noise and extremely low noise and vibration pile driver if the pile can be pressed by extraction resistance force of reaction piles. The press-in method begins from reaction stand, which include outriggers to be loaded with counterweight. The counterweight provides initial reaction weight to install the first 3 to 5 piles into the ground. After the initial piling is done, counterweight and reaction stand are no longer necessary, so they are removed. But silent pilot is able to continue the pressing work only the already installed pile. There are many types of sheet pile available worldwide. These various types are applicable for silent pilot. For Z profile sheet pile, we can derive single Z profile and double Z sheet pile. However, we can't yet derive an 800 mm sheet pile, which is wide range of Z profile sheet pile made by ArcelorMittal. In addition, heart-shaped sheet pile and zero-shaped sheet pile, which are both made by Japanese steel manufacturer, are available as well. Moreover, we provide tubular pile and pipe pile installation solutions. The diameters available are 500 to 1,500 millimeter, 2,000 millimeter, and 2,500 millimeter. This shows the standard machine layout of the pressing operations. The operation comprises silent pilot, a hydraulic jacking machine, power unit of silent pilot as a power pack, and service crane. This picture shows what you should prepare in the site as a standard. The pressing method emits only minimum noise, and it is almost vibration-free. It's completely environmentally friendly. Hence, this as a pressing method is nuisance-free. It can be applied adjacent to the residential areas and train operations. For instance, in the UK, the acceptable noise level during construction are provided by British standard BS 5228. This figure illustrates noise levels of typical steel sheet piling method. In urban area, the acceptable noise level should not exceed 70 dB. In addition, the maximum noise limit in rural area is 75 dB. As you can see, our method produces a noise below the noise limit of British standard BS 5228. The monitoring data is obtained from a research done in the National University of Singapore. The noise level of the pressing piling method is generally less than 75 dB, which is NEA noise limit on sensitive buildings of Singapore. As an additional information, the noisiest part of pressing rig is from power unit. However, it can be located away from sheet pile alignment and shielded if necessary to further reduce the noise. Moving on the vibration level data, with the vibration level data, a vibration level of the pressing piling method is consistently low. They are generally less than 2 millimeters per second. Using a pressing piling method, people do not feel the vibration from the silent piler even when in close proximity. Okay, this slide shows the penetration technologies. There are 3 methodologies available for sheet pile and pipe pile for pressing method. The range of SPTN value applied in standard pressing is less than 25. For SPTN value greater than 25, we need a driving assistance to overcome medium dense and hard ground conditions. Otherwise, sheet pile would be damaged if only the pressing standard mode is used to these ground conditions. These are water jetting mode for medium and stiff ground conditions and super crush mode for hard ground. For super crush mode, the auger simultaneously loosens the ground while the pile is installed. After the pile is installed to the required depth, the auger is reversed and disturbed soil is backfilled and reconsolidated. As I mentioned earlier, silent pile is available to many types of sheet piles. For single Z profile, the applicable width for silent pile is 575 to 708 millimeter. For double Z sheet pile, the applicable width for silent pile are 1,150 to 1,460 millimeter. When you think about Z profile sheet pile as a retaining wall, you don't need to consider any reduction factors. This slide shows the penetration techniques for pipe pile and tubular pile. The way of standard mode and water jetting mode and super crush mode is the same as sheet pile operation. The far right picture illustrates a rotary cutting called gyro press method. In addition, this method can penetrate through very hard ground and concrete structure because of having a cutting bit on the tip of the tubular pile. You will see the mechanism of the gyro press method This system consists of axial pressing system and rotary cutting. Also, the pile has cutting bit at the tip of the tubular pile. Also, the number of the cutting bits at pile tip depend on soil conditions. In addition, the maximum applied rock grade is grade 3 of Bukit granite for Singaporean geology, and the unconfined compressive strength is about up to 80 megapascal. In addition, to avoid plug effect on pile, water lubrication system is used. Okay, this slide shows one of the applications of gyro press method. One of the advantages of gyro press method is it can penetrate through concrete structure without foundation removal. In this case, the existing concrete structure was damaged by a typhoon and corrosion. A tubular pile was designed as a retaining wall for coastal levee protection without demolition of concrete structure in congested area. In addition, we needed to protect the beach for nature conservation. Hence, extensive temporary platform for steel piling or as well as road diversion were not met on the requirement. This is another case study on gyro press method with GRB system. In this case, we applied skip lock system, which is newly developed equipment to install the skipped tubular pile and to allow the machine to move from the previously installed skipped tubular pile. So we could provide tubular pile retaining wall as well as skipped tubular pile structure, such as jetty, slope protection, and steel pile foundation. Combi gyro wall is composed of tubular pile for stiffness and Z profile or heart-shaped sheet pile for water cutoff. Our unique pressing piling machine is able to install the sheet pile first, then tubular pile, while gripping the previously installed sheet pile. So we could provide high modulus combi gyro wall, which has lower cost compared with contiguous wall as well as continuous pipe pile wall. When necessary, pressing operations are carried out only the top of the previously installed piles. This method is called Giken reaction-based system or GRB system. This GRB system is our own construction system in which all the steps, including transportation, pitching, and pressing the piles are completed on the piles. Each piece of equipment stands on its own while the gripping previously installed pile. This means that there is no risk of machine rollover and construction continues as long as there is sufficient space for the machine. This footprint-free installation method substantially eliminates temporary work and significantly reduces construction cost and time. The photo at the left side is above the water. Also, pressing piling operations can be carried out on the inclination as well as in areas adjacent to houses. So, as a pressing method with GRB system, is footprint reinstallation method. It can be also carried out above the water and on the inclination. This picture depicts two methods, pressing and conventional method. In the conventional method, it's essential to build road diversion decking in the bridge reinforcement project. In contrast, in the pressing method, owing to the compact design, the pressing operation under a bridge is possible without interference to road activities. So this slide shows the case studies under a low headroom. The cofferdam, as shown in the photo at the left side, was built for the bridge foundation work. After finishing the foundation work, silent pillar extracted sheet piles even under low headroom. For U-shaped sheet pile, silent pillar can operate for the minimum of 2 meters under low headroom. In the photo depicted on the right side, tubular piles were installed for the bridge abutment. The minimum distance required tubular pile operation is 4 meters. Okay. The zero clearance method employs specially designed pressing piling machine named Zero Piler, as well as Zero Sheet Pile MSSPJ to pressing piles with zero dead space between sheet piles and adjacent structure. The zero clearance method enables the maximum use of space in a way that was not possible before. As the machinery is compact, it doesn't occupy large areas, hence it's safe and no risk of machine rollover. So this path braking method is beneficial for development and improvement of underground drainage spaces. Up to this topic, I have explained about on the pressing principle of the pressing method and steel piling technologies that we developed. From next slide, I'm going to explain about case studies that use silent piler. We performed numerous case studies. One of them is depicted in this slide. In this case, we applied gyro press method with GRB system. Tubular piles were installed to protect the bridge from the scour after heavy rain. As you may recognize, our pressing piling rig was subject to noise and vibration in addition to other difficult site conditions. Moreover, furthermore, this was the case with other types of machines as well, which can't be set up without any temporary platform. When designing a road widening project, one may consider how the impact on the road can be avoided. So as you can see, the most impact work to the road in this site that engineer assumed was steel piling work. However, applying the pressing piling method with the GRB system, we kept the same number of lanes. There was no need to merge lanes. This photo shows roadworks and completed projects. In the Canary Wharf station located in London, our pressing piling rigs were applied for steel pipe installation of a pipe pile cofferdam. Innovative design and construction techniques enabled the station box to be completed 4 months ahead of development program. The Canary Wharf station is the first station in Elizabeth Line and is one of the largest stations in London Railway. The station site is located in north side of the Isle of Dogs in London Borough of Tower Hamlet. The station box is 260 meter long and 25 to 30 meter wide. On the first tender stage, double row sheet pile cofferdam and new cut-off wall quay along the north quay were mentioned. Instead of the first design, contractor proposed a design as shown in the pictures at the right, which shows Giken pipe pile wall, contiguous board pile through Giken wall, and secant board pile. It's obvious final approved design proposed by contractor was economical and progressive idea, especially in reducing the volume of the soil removed and disposed, as well as the weight of the steel materials. The formation level of the station box is approximately 18 meters below the dockbed level, while the dock is 9 meters deep. As shown in the pile detail at the right side, 36 meter long contiguous board pile were formed at the lower end of the pipe pile. These piles were entirely reinforced and concreted. The east, west, and north side of the retaining wall were built with 309 pipe piles installed above the water by utilizing pressing piling method with super crush mode. The south of the station box of the retaining wall was built with secant board pile. There are some key issues that needed to be addressed for the project to be successful. These key client requirements were minimize noise during the piling operations, reduce the volume of excavated material to be disposed off-site, minimize the impact of ground movement on adjacent structure, design the station for a long-term dock gate failure conditions, maintain the dock of ship navigation and consider an allowance for ship impact load on the station structure. The design scheme has been extensively described by Arap's engineer on papers. Additionally, some issues also encountered with pipe installation. For instance, a cutoff to restrict the flow of water was required to allow the construction of the station box. All clutches were to be fully interlocked and all corners closed. Clutch grouting was to be used on all interlocks. This shows the ground conditions. The SPTN value is over 50, which means we need a driving assistance and applied super crush mode. 3 months before the start of the construction, the developer of the Canary Wharf project conducted field tests to verify if the pressing with augering method could be used for the project. Consequently, it was proven that these piles reached the Lambeth bed group, Lambeth bed family, and didn't have an adverse effect on the board piles after the tubular pile installation. This is a ceremony which the construction of the first station in Elizabeth Line started. The average installation productivity was 3 piles per day. In terms of wall deflection, the cofferdam swayed to the south during pre-stressing of anchor piles and draining the dock, which was caused by dock water behind the cofferdam. In dewatering stage, the wall deflection was only 10 mm compared with 20 mm predicted values. So pipe pile retaining wall could provide excellent water tightness. For the railway project, the first thing we have to consider is to avoid impact on the train operations. Tubular piles were installed by using gyro press method to penetrate through slope protection concrete structure without interference to train operations. The purpose of the project was making a retaining wall and making a railway embankment instead of using existing railway. We also completed sheet pile retaining wall project near railway in France. The client considered several impacts such as settlement of the railway embankment during sheet pile installation with simultaneous super crush mode. In this case, we measured steel pile wall deflection to verify that the requirement was met. This shows the site situation where sheet pile alignment was located 6 meters away from the boundary wall. We measured steel pile wall deflection in 20 spots. Generally, measured value was smaller than the assumed deflection, even after soil disturbance. Moving on to the basement wall project, the St. David II was £675 million mixed-use development project in the center of the Cardiff, Wales. The footprint area was the size of the 8 football pitches. To build second-level car park and retail service yard, U-shaped sheet pile and pipe pile walls were applied. The basement wall, the basement wall for U-shaped sheet pile had 1,169 pile pieces. It was 600 with PU12 as anchor walls also were applied. Basement walls for tubular pile had 205 piles, 940 mm in diameter. For U-shaped sheet pile and pipe pile wall installation, our press-in piling method were applied to minimize necessary construction yards and unacceptable vibration at the tunnel running underneath the south area of the site. The design life of retaining wall is 100 years. The existing building had to be removed concurrently U-shaped sheet pile and pipe pile installation. Although the original design was secant board pile, due to these circumstances, we proposed our product to the client. As the press-in piling machine have compact design, so they suit well in this kind of situation. Okay, permanent steel piling are less considered for basement wall, as the interlocks are assumed to be a potential leaking point. So, in building a steel piling basement wall, the sheet pile should be seal welded to provide a fully watertight wall. This shows a watertight solutions for pipe pile wall. These photos illustrate the rig for pipe pile and the U-shaped sheet pile did work and post-excavation. If we are thinking of using retaining wall for your basement, we could help you achieve effective land use. All steel foundation and press retaining system, including most shielded walls, can be extracted and either reused or recycled. This can make the site free of obstruction and easier to be redeveloped. There are many types of panel, such as a concrete panel, wooden liner wall, and sometimes a coating after U-shaped sheet pile or pipe pile installation. This is a Pandan Reservoir in Singapore. The cofferdam was built for the water pipeline installation by utilizing the sheet pile was installed by pressing method with GRB system. After dewatering, the water pipeline installation works were completed. Flood alleviation has been increasingly necessary due to climate change. The ways to protect against floods are increasingly embankment height and widening the width of the river or canal, excavating the river or canal bed, or making a retarding basin. Of course, sheet pile wall can be suitable for these type of conditions. This slide shows the flood protection work project in Japan. In this case, prefabricated concrete panel was hoisted by clamp crane, which is one of GRB system equipment, in order to save temporary platform. GCAN Europe was awarded first place in the Innovation Partnership Keyword Project named IPK by the City of Amsterdam in 2020. The IPK project was instigated to find the world's most innovative solution for keyword innovation in the canals listed in the World Heritage for the District of Amsterdam. GCAN and its DCraft partners were awarded first place among 17 international parties and have entered into a partnership agreement with Amsterdam city government. With some of the countries being below the sea level, the Netherlands boast world best solutions for water management. This project will draw world attention. This achievement highlights GCAN's development as a total global engineering solutions provider. If you are curious about this project I just mentioned, please check the GCraft website at www.gcraft.nu. This slide shows cargo berth construction work in Batangas, Philippines. We had shortened the construction period as the guided frame for pipe driving was not required. Recently, there are several natural disasters happening in Japan. These have caused extensive damage. These have also confirmed the vulnerability of the embankment. As you may know, one of the major catastrophic incidents in Japan occurred in Tohoku area in 2011. An earthquake, including liquefaction and subsequent tsunami, which are called complex disaster, happened. Numerous types of coastal levee made of concrete collapsed and fell down. The levees were backwashed due to huge waves, and part of levees overturned to the seaside, as shown at the bottom of the photo at the left side. So we started researching double row sheet firewall measurement against natural disaster with university, Nippon Steel, and engineering company. I was one of the research members. It's because double row sheet pile cofferdam built for the water gate construction in the disaster-stricken areas remained after a complex disaster. In one of the studies we conducted, we compared two methods for embankment of ground settlement of excess for water pressure. So the double row sheet pile wall that we proposed replaced inside the embankment. So we took several ground settlement results. The settled value with no measurement was 1.4 meter. In contrast, the settled value with sheet pile measurement was only 25 centimeters. It confirmed the double row sheet pile wall could minimize sinking and keep double row sheet pile formation intact, even after 8 hours, where residual settlement was 55 centimeters. By the way, we connected the top of the double row sheet pile wall with tie rod. From the results of this study, we have proposed a double row sheet pile wall as a countermeasure against natural disasters, including complex disasters. After an earthquake happened in offshore, liquefaction can occur in areas with soft soil conditions. Then tsunami is generated and comes to the land. Double row sheet pile wall could keep the embankment functional even during extreme disasters. Double row sheet pile wall can be used in other applications. For instance, it can be used to deliver rescue supply and drain the water off. Or after the road decking panel, after setting up the road decking panel on the sheet pile, the road decking panel can be also used as an emergency road. If the double row sheet pile wall remains after a tsunami, it can be also used for early restoration of afflicted areas. This slide shows the GIKEN disaster protection system. As a pre-disaster defense, double row sheet pile wall is installed inside the embankment. After catastrophe arrived, Silent Pillar built a tentative revetment at the GIKEN wall. It's important for people and the economy not to experience second disaster. We also propose a single row tubular pile wall. Of course, we have already researched about it. These are applicable when the levee widths are not wide enough. For instance, those near the road. This slide depicted for the double row sheet pile wall built in Kochi, Japan. The total construction area of Kochi levee where protection was required was 15 kilometers. 4-kilometer construction length was used for double row sheet pile wall in 15-kilometer stretch. In the remaining 11 kilometers, the single tubular pile wall was used for the protection work, but also the tubular pile was installed by gyro press method to install the concrete structure directly. Okay. In summary, Silent Pillar offers minimized construction risks, and it is a useful alternative to urban development where limited low headroom, a narrow yard, and piling-induced noise and vibration are major concerns. That was my presentation. I hope my presentation was informative and will help you figure out where and under which situation Silent Pillar should be applied. If your site has no limitation or concerns, the hammer or vibration method should be used. So I hope my presentation helped you understand additional values and advantage of Silent Pillar. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. That's all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Hiroshi. It was a wonderful presentation. And thank you for this presentation, and we'll see you in the question and answer session. Now, we would also like to thank our sponsors. So our series sponsor, that is ArcelorMittal Projects India Private Limited. I also thank Teamwork Engineering Solutions Private Limited, our webinar series co-sponsor, and the sponsor for webinar 6, that is today's webinar, that is Geekan Asia. So now we'll watch promotional videos from these sponsors and then we'll proceed to our question answer session.
My origin is somewhere in the depths of the earth, and my story began billions of years ago, when I was born in a blaze of fire. I helped you survive through the ages. I've changed the way you work, and I've changed the way you live. I've been part of mankind's greatest achievements. I allowed you to expand your frontiers, to explore the land, the water, the skies, and even the universe. Throughout the centuries, I was reborn again and again. I'm known for stability and strength. My quantity is measured in millions of tons, but my quality is defined in millions of an inch. I've stretched the possibilities of human imagination. I've inspired you to shape your visions and reach new heights. Once I'm back to where I came from, I can become virtually anything you can imagine. I am more versatile than I have ever been before. I'm always with you. I'll protect you and guide you. I'm all around the globe, wherever you go. I'm everywhere and will always be. I am the engine of innovation. I am the pulse of the modern world. And you'll build your future on me, because I am steel, the fabric of life.
The Social Foundation to support a civilized society. A standard which satisfies everyone is necessary for establishing the foundation. Environmental protection, safety, speed, economy, and aesthetics. All of these 5 conditions related to construction should be fulfilled in a well-balanced manner to achieve a regular pentagon shape. These are the 5 construction principles, the standard which defines ideal construction. That is the silent piler. Characteristics of the silent piler are as follows. The machine holds piles which have been driven in already. Through this principle, piling is achieved through press-in, which is light, compact, and quiet. We also developed our own construction technologies for piling on hard ground, concrete structures, and other surfaces. We have dramatically expanded the scope of application of press-in. No vibration, no noise, temporary work-free construction that is not wasteful, is functionally strong and robust, a total package product backed up by science. The implant method, based on the superiority of the press-in principle, has made construction work possible now that wasn't possible in the past. As a construction method that is safe and contributes to a flourishing society, we have a wealth of successful experience globally in more than 30 countries. In order to realize our vision for construction going forward, we will follow the 5 major principles and continue to progress towards changing construction globally through a revolution in construction methods.
Now I again welcome Mr. Tomotoka Hirose and Mr. Heng Lee, who will be coordinating the question and answer session. He is General Manager in Giken Asia. I welcome you, Mr. Heng Lee. Please take over.
Thank you, Prana. Greetings to everyone attending this webinar. I'm Heng Lee, General Manager of Giken Asia office based in Singapore. I hope all of you enjoyed Hirose-san's presentation. For the next 12 to 15 minutes, I will facilitate the Q&A session, so please feel free to ask any questions in the chat box. Do include your name and organization. We apologize if we are unable to answer all of the questions, but we will get back to you in the next few days via email if we are unable to answer them today. Okay, Hirose, so let's begin.
Okay.
So we have one question from Amaruta from ArcelorMittal Projects India. Can the machine install Nippon H system?
Generally, for Nippon hot edge system, we cannot drive any Nippon Steel hot edge. So, but either if the sheet pile installed separately, means which not welded on the factory, we can drive the hot sheet pile first, but we cannot install the H pile. Definitely, the vibratory hammer should be used to install the H pile.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Hirose. And we have a question from Anirudan Ilikau. How many reaction piles are generally needed to adopt the gyropress method?
For gyropress method, we needed normally 2 to 3 piles for the reaction pile. Then as I showed the previous slide, so normally sheet pile uses a reaction stand to install the initial piling, but also the tubular pile method as well. We set up the reaction stand to install the first initial piling, then several piles, after several piling installed, tubular pile is able to self-move by itself. Then normally there are 2 piles needed as a reaction pile.
Okay, so basically 2 to 3 piles usually required. Okay. The next question we have also from the same person. What was the ground condition for the Crossrail station project?
Okay. For the Crossrail station, the ground condition is over the 50 of the SPDN value, which means which is a very hard ground condition. Also, in this case, we need to install the lambda bed, which is a low permeability soil conditions. So in this case, are equivalent to more than 50. So I don't have any specific soil conditions right now. So I will get back to you soon. So after I getting any information.
Okay, we can provide more information after this session, but basically SPT value was more than 50, right?
Yes, right. Then we need to driving assistant.
Right, okay, thank you. And we have a question from Rajan Peter. What is the deflection allowed as per standards? I guess he's referring to the projects that that you were presenting on, to the case study.
Okay. Oh, according to the Arabs engineer, which had undertaken on this Crossrail station project, according to the engineer, they assumed 45 millimeter wall deflection, which is so at the bottom of the level 6, which is the bottom of the station box. But also that these information are mentioned by papers written by Arab engineers, or also any engineering solution publications.
Okay.
I hope this answers.
Yes,
enough.
I think it answers. Yeah. The next question is from Nirav Modi. What is the rate of driving POW in hard rock by this method? This would be for pipe POW, tubular POW.
Oh, sorry, could you say again?
What is the rate of driving pipe POW in hard rock using the gyro press method?
Okay, for gyro press method, it definitely depends on soil conditions. So if you have any soil investigation data, we will check on that. Then we assume how many piles we can do. But I'm gonna telling generally speaking. So in the construction standard sheet pile productivity mentioned in Japanese construction standard book. So for sheet piles, working days are 8 hours. For example, the sheet pile length is 12 meters. For the standard pressing mode, the sheet pile productivity is around 24 sheet piles per day. So for gyro press method, we calculated the productivity on each project. That's why we don't have any reference papers right now.
Right. Okay. So basically a very big range, but really dependent on how hard is the hard rock, I suppose.
Yes. Also, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And we have a question from Deepak. In your slide, you presented a case of piling below bridge deck. Considering the limited working space, the sheet piles were driven to some length and welded to increase the length of further driving. Is it common to increase the length of sheet pile by welding multiple pile lengths? And are there any drawbacks that we should be careful about?
It's very common to weld the sheet pile under a any low headroom situation. Sometimes use the welding or bolt solutions to cut the welding time. So, for example, anyway, the number to reduce. Of course, we need to manage construction sheet pile tolerance when we weld the sheet pile many times, for example, 5 to 10 times, also it depends on the welding techniques, technologies.
Yeah, I think there are definitely welding standards that need to be maintained to ensure.
Yeah, to reduce waiting time instead of the welding, sometimes manufacturer made a mechanical joint for the sheet pile or pipe pile solutions. For example, when we install the sheet pile under a low headroom, when we use a mechanical joint, it takes just 10 to 15 minutes for waiting. It definitely reduces cost and time.
Okay, thank you. A number of questions just came in. Just let me select another one. What is this question from Amaruta? What is the maximum length handled by Giken's silent parlor till date? Maybe we can share with them what we have handled for both sheet pile and tubular pile.
Okay, for sheet pile, we have done the maximum achievement is 40 meter for 400 millimeter U-shaped sheet pile. Of course, we need a driving assistant in that case. We use a super crush mode. Then for tubular pile achievement, we have done the maximum length is 59 meter for the tubular pile, where the station is sited in Japan. Of course, in that case, the site situation is under low headroom. We welded several times to install the pipe pile to the required depth.
Okay. Thank you for that. There's a question about whether the silent parlor can turn the corner at a cofferdam.
Sorry, could you say again?
Can the silent parlor turn a corner at the cofferdam? So I think this is referring to the 90 degrees at the corner of the cofferdam.
Yeah. Our silent parlor is able to self-move at the corner, which is 90 degrees. So also, of course, in this, sometimes to make a cofferdam, we need to install the sheet pile at the corner. In that case, we need to install the dummy pile, the opposite to the sheet pile alignment. Just one pile we need. Then after installing a dummy pile, so during the installing the next sheet pile, we can self-move to turn around 90 degrees. Then, for example, another situation, so we can of course install the circular type, circular structure for sheet pile as a shaft. So of course it depends on sheet pile angle, with the maximum angle is adjusted. For example, the U-shaped sheet pile, the maximum 5 or 6 degrees. So we can make a shaft structure to install the sheet pile. So also for the Giken, we would suggest a minimum radius of the circular structure is 8 meter.
Okay, thank you. We are almost out of time. I will take one last question. Is there any limitation on the height or length of the sheet pile or tubular pile which is to be driven? Is there any limitation from a machine perspective?
Generally, we don't have any limitation about the sheet pile or tubular pile length. Of course, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it depends on soil conditions. If the soil condition is very hard, yeah, it would be difficult to install for the more than 30 or 40 meters, for example. But if the soil is very soft, so it would be easy to install compared with other difficult ground conditions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hirose-san. I know several questions came in the last few minutes. We will respond to these questions via email in the next few days. So apologies for that. Once again, thank you very much to DFI India for organizing this webinar, and thank you to Hirose-san for the informative presentation. So I'll hand this back to DFI India now.
Thank you very much, Hengli-san, and thank you very much, Hirose-san. That was a great presentation, and question and answer session was very informative. We look forward to hearing back about the other questions, answers to the other questions. Thank you. So let's move on to the next webinar 7 information. So our next webinar will be on 4th November at 4 p.m. IST. The title will be Hot Rolled Steel Sheet Piles Projects, Techno-Economic Approach for Temporary Application. This is a very interesting topic for India. India uses quite a bit of temporary applications and a lot around the world as well. So this will be a very interesting and exciting topic. Don't miss it. The speaker will be Mr. Joe Martins. So we also wanted to share the upcoming 10th anniversary conference on deep foundation technologies for infrastructure development in India. It is going to be from November 19th through 20th. We welcome all the attendees to register for the conference. So the pre-conference webinars are ongoing. So the next one is going to be on 22nd October. Don't forget to register for it. And the virtual conference is going to be on November 19th and 20th. The pre-conference webinar that is on 22nd October at 4:30 IST the title is going to be Deep Mixing Equipment and Field of Applications of the Deep Mixing Method. The speakers are Dr. Nicolas Denis and Professor Noel from Belgian Building Research Institute. We have limited individual registration offer, so don't forget to register. DFI India 2020 Virtual Conference India Conference. It's going to be INR 1500. The information will also be in the handout section. Please reach out to the email and the numbers you see for Mahendra and Mohammed Atif. We also have benefits for registrants. Please go through that on our website and also in the handout sections of this webinar. So sponsorship opportunities are open for the conference. Reach out to DFI India office for your for other information and your opportunity. Again, you have phone numbers and the emails for TS Mahendran and Mohammed Atif here. We can see on the right side all the sponsors so far. So thank you for your attention, and we will leave the webinar 6 with a short video on DFI 45th Annual Online Conference. Don't forget to join our 4th November 4 p.m. IST for webinar 7. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Hi, we are the Technical Program Committee for DFI 45, and we're going to define the conference in 14 words. For me, DFI 45 is awesome. What is it for you, Ali?
For me, it's very creative. What is it for you, Chris Woods?
For me, it's collaborative. How about you, Greg?
For me, it's charismatic. How about the next Greg?
For me, it's groundbreaking. How about you, Harry?
For me, it's exciting. How about you, Jamie?
For me, it's fun. How about you, Jennifer?
For me, it's engaging. How about you, John?
For me, it's interactive. How about you, Jose? For me, it's informative. What about you, Valerie?
For me, it's innovative. How about you, Vanessa?
For me, it's dynamic. What do you think, Carol?
It's exciting. Mary Ellen, what do you think?
It's the DFI community. Back to you, Sebastian.
All right. Well, as you know, our theme is people, purpose, passion, and I really want to see you at the end of October. Thank you.
That was awesome. All right.
Hi, this is Sebastian and Santi for video number 2 for DFI 45, an online conference from October 27 to October 30. We want to invite you to this event. We're going to have a live stream, on-demand presentations, panel discussions, meet the presenter sessions, discussion boards,
Mother butterfly,
video chat lounge, interactive exhibit halls, and my favorite, a virtual 5K. It's going to be a dynamic online platform, and our attempt is to connect and engage the DFI community through a high-quality technical exchange. We're going to use digital networking, and we're very excited about it. Beyond any points or any bullets that I can give you today, what I really want is to invite you to join us. This is an event that has been planned for more than 18 months with more than 200 leaders in our industry, all with one purpose and a lot of passion. So please give us a chance, check out the technical program, and I'm sure you're going to love it. Thank you.